Assalamu alaikum and hello again. Today we will talk about 6.9. It is banking systems in your book at page 110. Banking applications. The use of computer technology has revolutionized how we all do our banking transactions. Rather than to do the classical banking and to go to the bank, you can use the ATM machines, automatic teller machines, internet banking, telephone banking, chip and pin technology, clearing of checks, and electronic fund transfer EFT. Now, first of all, we will talk about ATMs, the automatic teller machines. We are all used to see these automatic teller machines everywhere in all places. Now, we can, as customers, get cash or to carry out certain banking activities using these automatic teller machines using our credit card or debit card. The following sequence shows the typical ATM of a process. Now, this table is talking about the sequence for withdrawing a cash and what goes on behind the scenes. This is what we see and this is what is happening in the system. So when customer puts the card in the ATM, the contact made with the bank of the computer, then the PIN is entered using the keypad by the customer, so the PIN is checked to see if it is correct. Now the number of options are given, like change the PIN, top up mobile phone, see account balance and other services which is in the ATM. Now the customer selects the cash option. A number of cash amounts are shown, like shortcuts to make it easier for the customer not to make any mistake in typing the amount of money. So the card is checked to see if the card expiration date is exceeded and the card is reported as stolen or not. Then the customer accepts one of the options or types in different amount. Maybe the shortcuts of the money that's not matching my needs, so I have to type it. Then the customer's account is accessed to see if they have sufficient funds. Check is made to see if the daily limit also is exceeded. Then the customer is asked if they want to get a receipt. Now the card is returned, transaction is okay, money is dispensed and the customer account is updated. Now this is how to use the automatic teller machine or the ATM. Now using the ATM has some disadvantages, that they are often in places where theft can take place at night. Also, bogus ATMs can be set up to gather information about the card and return the card. Some banks charge customers for the use of ATM. And now the second topic, internet banking. Using internet banking requires good security in your smartphone or PC or using your laptop. It allows the transfer of sums of money between accounts, also payment of bills, ordering of statements, and so on. This is a particular benefit to people who are unable to visit banks during their normal opening hours, or they suffer some disability with making traveling to the bank, which make it difficult or sometimes impossible. Now the advantages of working from home are valid with the internet banking. So you are saving the cost of traveling, you are saving the time of traveling from your home to the bank, you are also saving the time of sitting or standing in queues, just waiting for your paperwork to be done and the money transaction. The disadvantages of using the internet are very valid also when they are applied to the internet banking, such as if you don't have internet connection, you can't do the operations. You should get some safety and secured applications. You have to check about your ID, it is not theft, and so on. As the amount of online shopping and banking increase, the impact on society begins to gain in significance. Now, online shopping and banking means that more and more people are staying at home to buy goods and services. Also, they manage their bank accounts and book holidays using these online applications from home. This would all be done using a computer connected to the internet and some form of electronic payment using your credit or debit card. Now, the following notes give comprehensive list of advantages and disadvantages to use the internet to carry out these tasks, and it will be also done in the section 6.13 on the retail sector and online shopping. Now, these are the online shopping and banking advantages. You can see many of the advantages. No longer need to travel to the town center and to reduce the cost of traveling. Also, you can access to the worldwide market. You can find the reviews, you can find the feedback, you can also compare between the costs, the prices. Disabled and elderly people, now they can access to their bank or shops from home. It is working 24 hours 7 days a week, and so on. You can check all of these advantages and find out yours for the exam. Now, the disadvantages also, there's a possibility of isolation, you are not socialized. Also, there are possible health risks of using online shopping and banking, like the lack of exercise. There's the eye risk, also the safety and health problems you can consider here. Security issues are major concern of hacking, stealing your cards, the identity theft, accidentally using fraudulent bank or shopping websites, and so on. So we have also many disadvantages. You have to check them. Now, the effects on companies due to the spread of online shopping and banking. Now, that was the advantages and disadvantages. In the previous was talking about individuals and people. Now we are talking about companies and organizations. Now the effects here are that companies can save costs here because there are fewer staff need to be paid, and there's no necessary to have many shops or showrooms and banks, so we are saving the rental costs. Also, because the internet is global, the potential customer base is increased. There will be some increased costs. Why? Because of the need to retrain the staff and the need to employ more staff in dispatch departments because of the need of delivery. There are also costs due to the setting up and maintaining the websites to enable online shopping and banking. So these are the disadvantages. You have also here, there is very little or no customer employee interaction. This could lead to drop in customer loyalty, and also robberies are less likely due to the decrease of the number of high street banks. Also, we have banks here need to employ fewer security staff, which has the cost benefit. So all of these are the effects. Summarize them and find them as positives and negatives. Now, telephone banking. Telephone banking is similar to the internet banking, and you can use it beside using the internet banking and the ATM. The main difference here is you are using your telephone rather than using your computer. With this system, the customer calls the bank using the telephone. It should not be a smartphone. You can use any phone, the classic one or smartphone. The sequence will be the following. After the call center is answering, the customer is asked to key their account number. Then they are requested to enter 4-digit PIN or selected numbers from their PIN. The customer will then hear various options with the system, which may include press 1 for balance, press 2 to carry out a money transfer, and so on of options as you used to hear from the automatic call centers. The customer chooses one of the options that they want, either by pressing the correct key, or some systems ask the customer to speak the number. This relies on the voice recognition. Now, as with the internet banking, customers are able to check their balances anywhere in the world, pay bills, or transfer money to another account, talk with bank representative, and make some claims or some comments. Now, the advantage of telephone banking are similar to the internet banking, but with this system, there is no need to have a computer, and it is possible to talk to an actual human being. Also, you don't need to get the internet connection. Many people still find this a more attractive proposition because you don't need to have any technical experience. However, compared to the internet banking, it can be much slower. There may be a long queue before you can talk to somebody to ask some question, and the options can be little more complex to navigate. Now, you also can be quicker in the computer when the computer is switched on, and at the same time you want to find your balance inquiry. Now, topic 4, chip and PIN. As you see the card here, it has a chip, which is a smart chip. Many credit cards and debit cards are equipped with chip, which is in the magnetic stripe card. This contains a key information such as a PIN. This PIN is used rather than using the signature, which is more secured and smart method to secure your bank account. Now it is used in the form of electronic funds transfer, EFT, which we will see later in topic 6. Now, suppose a customer goes in a restaurant to pay for a meal, or in some shop they want to use their chip and PIN card. These are the steps how it is done. The PIN is entered using the keypad. The card is checked to see if it is valid as the expiry date or it is stolen or not. The PIN is read from the chip on the card. It is compared to the one in just keyed now. If they are the same, then the transaction is proceed. If this is the third attempt of entering the PIN code and it is false, so the transaction is terminated. The restaurant bank contacts the customer's bank. A check is made on whether they have enough funds. If the card is not valid or they have not enough fund available, so the transaction also is terminated. If everything checks out as okay, then the transaction is authorized. The authorization code is sent to the restaurant. The price of the meal is deducted from the customer's account. The same amount of money is added to the restaurant's bank account, and a receipt is produced as proof of this purchase. Now topic 5, clearing of checks. This section reviews how banks clear checks using centralized clearing center. Now suppose that Mr. John is using a bank called Hodder Bank and he is paying a check for $50 to a company called H&S Limited, who bank with Smith Bank. How is H&S Bank account credited with the $50? First of all, the check is sent to the Smith Bank and to be centralized clearing center. Now the check is processed by clearing center by first of all passing it through the reader sorter machine, which is the MICR. Now the MICR will check the code line containing the account number, sort code and check number. So this number is the account number, sort code and check number. Now this is done by the MICR, but reading the amount of the check, the money, is done by the human. Now all checks are then sorted using their sort codes, which is unique, and it is 6-digit numbers that are used to identify each bank or building society, ready for sending to an exchange center. The data from the check, which has been read, is then converted into an encrypted file, which is called IBGE, Interbank Data Exchange File. Every IBGE is signed with digital signature so that the receiving bank can be sure that the data has not been tampered with. Nobody has hacked or changed this data. Later, Smith Bank delivers the check to an exchange center. The exchange center then passes the check back to the paying bank, which is Hodder Bank in this case, which then sends it to its own clearing center. At the paying bank's clearing center, the digital signature is first checked, and then the check is passed through their own reader or sorter machine, which is the MICR, to make sure the data matches with that on the IBGE file. It also sorts the checks into branch order using the sort code. Later on, Hodder Bank checks to see if John has enough money in his account to cover the check, and also that it has been signed, dated and written correctly, and it is genuine. Based on this information, Hodder Bank decides whether to pay John's check to H&S Limited or return it as unpaid to Smith Bank. If John's bank decides not to pay the check to H&S Limited, his bank will send the unpaid check back to the Smith Bank by special courier. The decision to return a check unpaid must be made on the morning of the day after exchange, so the check can be returned straight away to Smith Bank if necessary. Now, a check may be returned unpaid for a number of reasons, such as the customer has not got enough money for this payment in their account, or it has not been signed, dated or written correctly, or it is fraudulent for some reason. This whole process, known as clearing check, takes 3 working days. So if you pay in a check on Wednesday, Thursday or Friday, it will actually take 5 days to clear because there are some weekend days between them. Electronic funds transfer, EFT. It is the system that allows money transfer instructions to be sent directly to a bank's computer system. There is no actual money to be transferred. Now, the whole system relies on the electronic transfer of money between accounts. When EFT instruction is received, the computer system automatically transfers the specified amount from one account to another. Now, this is an example of EFT in the payment of salaries to staff of a large company. On the day when the payment is made, the company instructs the bank to transfer money from their account into the account of employees. Now, each employee, their account will be increased or incremented by their salary amount, but the company will be deducted from this whole or the sum of the whole salaries. Now, another example of EFT is when you transfer money using a credit card or debit card in the payment of purchase in some store. The payment is made using the system of EFT at point of sale, so it will be mentioned as EFT POS. EFT is the electronic fund transfer and POS as point of sale. So when you pay using your credit card or debit card in some store or shop, it is EFT POS. Now, that was the end of the lesson. Study well and good luck.